So true, Laura. I hear you. And I'm going to share my screen. We'll see how this works. And we actually have two hosts for tonight. I'm starting out, but my friend Erin Long that you see there will also be the hostess with the mostest. And we're just going to give a short presentation really just about why to supplement. Feel free to type in your questions or speak up if you feel comfortable. But you know, the thing is, as you're hearing this presentation, there might be people that will come to mind, or it's probably very possible that you're going to have people that will come to mind and say, oh gosh, I wish they were hearing this presentation. I want you to know that our team does these presentations monthly, and usually the first week of the month. And so if you aren't connected with one of our multiple, we have some Facebook groups where we post about healthy tips for living, products that have really helped us to live healthy, and just inspirational things and things like that. So if you're not a part of our Facebook groups and you want to be connected with us for future events, I encourage you to ask for that, and you can be connected to some of our groups, and they're totally free. A great place for inspiration. I had a friend recently tell me how much it inspires her to be a part of our group. So, and then we also do other online events. We're doing an online cleanse type thing in 2 weeks. So there's more information on that if you want. But this presentation will be repeating. So keep that in mind. If there's someone when those people come to mind, you're always welcome to invite, and we're even happy to reward you with free products for doing that. So, first, I want you to ask yourself a few questions too. And these, you don't have to type in the chat box. Really just evaluate some questions for yourself. So if you were to rate yourself, let's say on a scale of 1 to 5 first, just even with what are your goals for your health? We've already thought about why, but what are your goals? You know, is it that you want to have more energy to keep up with your kids? Is it that you want to lose weight, or you want to age well, things like that? What would you say your goals are? So that's important for you to think about. And then on a scale of 1 to 10, how important would you say your health is to you? Because I'm assuming that because you're here, your health is important to you. But how important is it on a scale of 1 to 10? So as you're thinking about that, on another scale of 1 to 10, how much of your resources are you spending on your health? So by resources, I mean, of course, financial resources. How much of your money are you spending on it? But also, I mean, your time, your energy, how much of your resources are you spending on your health? And then finally, this one is actually really a convicting question to me, because it is how much do you spend per day on products you know that don't promote the health you want? I was recently just had kind of a big project I was working on. And so every day I was often saying, oh, I can't work until I get my Starbucks. And I know that this latte full of yumminess is also full of a lot of calories and empty calories and things that aren't good for me, and often overpriced. And so there's a lot of ways that we do that, because we think, I just need this because then, you know, so how much of our money per day are we spending on products that we know don't promote our health, right? So as you're thinking about these questions, keep them in the back of your mind as we talk about why should we supplement? I mean, I think that's a great question, but before we go into that, I just want to tell you a little bit about my background, because you're probably wondering who I am. My name is Alyssa Umdahl, and I am not a doctor. I was a teacher by trade, and I loved teaching. And I always felt that my health was pretty important to me. But when I was teaching, we definitely ate a lot of fast food. I didn't have time to cook. But when I became a mom, health really became more important to me, because now I had kids, right? And I wonder if, feel free to type in if the same thing happened for you, because it's all of a sudden you're taking care of other people and you care about your health. So I would have considered myself to be generally healthy, but I was tired all the time. And that's a picture of me with my firstborn son. And I was also pregnant with my second at the time. And I had to take a nap every day. I had digestive and hormone issues. But my husband also had high cholesterol issues, just because high cholesterol runs in his family. So it's genetic for him. But then also about this time when this picture was taken, my oldest son, we started to realize that he was very far behind in his speech and his social skills. He really did not say much until he was almost 2. But we could tell he was very bright. We knew he could count really well. He would take these foam numbers and move them. So we knew he could count beyond 100 at 2. but his social skills, he really did not. He would rather play with numbers than be with people. And even when we take him to church and people would applaud, he would cover his ears and just scream, and we'd have to take him out of there. And so we were just trying to figure out his sensory issues and what's going on with him. And that was really our family story. So we learned more about nutrition changes we could make in our lives, and even supplementation, which I was hesitant on because I thought, well, we can just eat healthy. We maybe don't need to supplement. But we started to make some changes with supplements. The supplements we're going to tell you about tonight, which specifically are Shaklee brand. And here's a picture of my 8-year-old son at his birthday. And you can just see the confidence in his eyes, how much he's changed. He speaks great now. His sensory issues are much more under control. And even socially, a lot of kids don't even know that he was even diagnosed with some of the things he was diagnosed with when he was younger. And so I am absolutely grateful. And it was because of diet changes and supplementation that things changed for him. But then also for me, I have a lot more energy now. I don't have to nap every day. And it's great. And then even for my husband, his cholesterol issues, his doctor was really impressed when he started using these supplements and said, have you been exercising more? Have you been changing your diet? And as much as he should have, he actually hadn't. It really was a change in brand of supplements because we were using a different brand of supplements before. So this is part of why I am very passionate about sharing this, because we have seen what changes that these quality products and quality nutrition can make in your life. But if you are like me, you might kind of think, well, why should I supplement? Because I do eat healthy. And that is so, so, so great if you eat healthy. But something that I think it's important to think about is kind of how dinner was 100 years ago, right? Like 100 years ago, we were eating local food. We were eating things from the local gardener or maybe even a local farmer. And it was coming straight to our table, and we were preparing more food at home, right? But now life is a little different, right? Life is a lot faster paced for us, first of all. And then we also have access to lots of different kinds of food, which is great. But unfortunately, before it comes to us, to keep it from spoiling before it gets to us, it's sprayed with a lot of pesticides and herbicides and all kinds of like scary stuff. For other things, they're going through a factory before they get to us. And even our animals have had antibiotics and hormones and all kinds of things. So there's just a lot of processing going on in our food sources right now, even if we are eating more natural of foods. But at the same time, like we're also eating foods like pizza when we're on the go because our lives are just faster now. So dinner today is far from nature. And if it's fresh, it means it was never canned or is maybe frozen. That's not technically fresh if you think about it. And then it's crazy to know that 13,000 to 15,000 chemicals are added to our food every year. Kind of crazy. So we all want to live healthy because we're here. I know you're a person that cares about your health, but food today is different than it was in our grandparents' generation. We just talked about that. But then also, even if we are eating healthy, I found with my kids, we're doing great if they eat spinach at dinner. That's awesome. But you know what? They don't eat beets. And so they're never going to eat beets. So they might get their spinach, but they won't get their beets. Or even on a particular day, they might eat spinach, but they didn't eat broccoli or they didn't eat green beans. And so it's not necessarily as balanced as it could be. And it's just not convenient. Let's be honest. Life is so much busier now than it was for our parents' generation. And as much as we try to avoid that, life is busy. So it's just not convenient. And then we have an increasingly toxic world that we could go even more into that, but I won't. But we just know that the ozone layer looks very different now than it did 100 years ago. And then things like, if you saw that Why Supplement video earlier, heart disease, cancer, obesity, all of these things that are the top killers of people are on the rise. And yet we live in an era of medical breakthrough, but we have these killers that are on the rise. And this quote that the current generation of children may be the first generation to have a shorter life expectancy. It used to be kids were outliving their parents. So this is all bleak and bad information, but I want you to have hope because there is so much that we can do, okay? So you will see that the USDA has said that if people would eat their RDAs, which is recommended daily amounts, there is a large number there of deaths that they believe could be prevented in that heart disease, stroke, cancer arena. And it would change a lot of major health problems just by eating the recommended daily amounts every day, which, by the way, are actually ridiculously low amounts, as a lot of people say. I love this quote from the CDC, that you can do more for your health than your doctor can. Now, doctors are awesome, and I'm so grateful for them, but doctors often they can diagnose our problems, and they can often give us some medicine and give us some advice, but they don't know how much sleep we're getting. They can't exercise for us. They can't eat well for us. These are things that we can do. We can do so much more for our health than our doctor can. And then I love this quote that was in the New York Times. It says, every dollar spent on nutrient supplements could save $28 in healthcare costs. So I know for me, I'm a person who's always been concerned about costs, but it's actually been very interesting how for our family, ever since we made the switch to quality products, we have had less times that we've had to go to the doctor. So we've actually saved quite a bit of money. Or you could say we just changed how we're spending our money. And now we're spending our money on being healthy versus spending our money on being sick. We're going to spend our money one way or the other. But we've actually saved a lot because we haven't had to buy antibiotics in quite a few years. And we don't have to pay those copays every time. We really just go for our well child visits. So if you are thinking about, okay, but I've heard that a lot of vitamins out there are garbage, good for you, because that is true. Unfortunately, there's always new studies coming out of how what's on the supplement bottle is not what's inside. Unfortunately, it's not regulated like it should be. And so how can you know what supplements to trust? It's a very good question. And so that's really why we're here tonight, because these products, Shaklee products, have really made a difference in our lives. And it's really just starting by one simple thing, one small step that can make a huge difference in your life. So I'll let Erin continue on telling us more about that. Thanks, Erin.
Sure. So I'm Erin, and I'm going to share a little bit more of my story in a bit, but I love this slide. It's one of my favorites because it says Shaklee helps people transform their lives by taking small, simple steps that lead to big results. And it really is true. When you don't feel good, and this is where I was at, where I didn't feel good, so then I didn't have energy to cook. So then I didn't eat good, and then I didn't exercise, and it's just this cycle. But just starting with the small, simple step of Shaklee helped me to create these habits that have changed my life. And so that's really the place of supplementation. It's not to say supplement and eat terrible and don't exercise, but it's a part of getting what we need and really just making that first small, simple step. Next slide. Alyssa has to do my slides for me, so. Sometimes they get stuck. Is it? Well, I can start telling a little bit about my story while we do this. I was going to wait till a different slide, but hey, we're stuck on this one. So I have 4 children, and I think it was Tessera, you had put that you've been having children and you just want to be there for them, and that's where I was. I had 4 kids. My oldest was 5 when my 4th was born, so a little bit more spread out. When I was pregnant with my 4th, my health really went just down, and I had a lot of pain, a lot of fatigue, and I was taking supplements at that time because I knew that supplements were good for me, but it wasn't really making a difference in my life. So I will pause there on my story, and we'll get to this one, and we'll get to mine in a little bit. So this is what Shaklee is. So we're named after a person. So in the left-hand corner, that's Dr. Shaklee. And he was a chiropractor in the early 1900s. And in 1915, so over 100 years ago, he created the first multivitamin in the U.S. And that's because he recognized, even then, 100 years ago, which, you know, we talk about our food isn't the best now, but even 100 years ago, he recognized that food was changing, that people couldn't get all the nutrients they needed from food. And so he really took this beautiful balance of nature and science and combining them together to make getting what we need easier for people. And so he was selling these out of his chiropractic office, and he also innovated things like the first green cleaner. He was green, we like to say, before it was cool to be green. Now everyone's kind of like, let's be green, but this was way back where he just really saw that that was important. He created the first plant-based protein. So just a lot of great innovative things that he did. And then in the 1950s, he was going to retire from being a chiropractor. And his patients were wondering, well, how are we going to get our supplements if you retire? And so he looked at, do we go, do I sell to a big box store like a Walmart? I don't know that it was Walmart back then, but you know what I mean, a big box store. And he realized what he was doing now was working, that people were using the products, they were loving the products, and so they would just refer people to him, and they would use the products, and it just kept going that way. And so he really innovated and embraced this model of network marketing. And so instead of a marketing fund and Shaklee going to pay for commercials like the $1 million Super Bowl commercials, it goes to help us who love the products and use the products. When we share them with others, we get rewarded. So that was another thing that he innovated, was just the company. And then you can see we've been innovating for over 100 years in Shaklee. We partner with amazing things, amazing feats, like that airplane down there is the first, I'm sorry, not the first, but the longest human-powered flight was powered by Shaklee Nutrition. So I think he pedaled the flight, and the longest one, because Shaklee Nutrition gave him that endurance that he needed. We've also partner with a lot of Olympians, because they have to be very careful about what they put in their bodies. They can be disqualified for something really small showing up in a blood test. And Shaklee, I think we have 144 Olympic medals, just because they trust our products, and they recognize that they want to be their best for the Olympics. We are also partnered with NASA. So that's at the last picture down there. That is one of our astronauts. Those vitamins are actually floating in space. NASA has asked to join with Shaklee. So I wanted to give you a picture of our history. We're really a solid company that is asked to partner with some really awesome organizations like NASA and the Olympics. So what makes Shaklee supplements different? So I told you before, when I was really sick, I was using other supplements, and they weren't really making a difference. And it wasn't until I switched to Shaklee after 4 years of being very sick, being in bed a lot of the time, that it really made a difference in my health. And for me, my body needed Shaklee Nutrition. And so it was a very dramatic change for me, and it was quick. It's not that quick for everyone, depending on what your health needs are. But I think the Shaklee difference is why these worked for me when other things didn't work. So I want to just highlight a few of these numbers on here. So 350, that circle there, that is how many tests Shaklee does on every new botanical ingredient to screen for anything harmful. Contaminants, pesticides, heavy metals, things like that. And then that number 250 down there, so that is, we screen 250 more tests than is required by the United States Pharmacopoeia. So things that are on the shelves at stores, we're screening for 250 more things. One of the things we screen for is heavy metals like lead. That's a very expensive test, and so most companies just don't do it, but we do. Also, I wanted to show you at the top, it says 125 published scientific papers and scientific presentations. So before I joined Shaklee, I didn't know what that meant. So maybe you already do, but I didn't, so I'll explain it to you. What that means, this is not one Shaklee scientist going to another Shaklee scientist, hey, we're really good here. This is the scientific community at large looking in at Shaklee science and saying, wow, they have good science. And so if you look at different companies, sometimes they'll have 1 or 2, maybe 3 published papers. We have 125. And so that's just to show you that Shaklee, the science is behind their products. They guarantee that their products are pure and that they are going to work. And that's all because they're based on science. Shaklee does not do fads. And so that's really, really important. The other one I want to show you is that number 20 there. So have you ever wondered, are supplements good for me? Should I be taking them? What if I take them for 20 years? Is that good or is that bad for me? Well, the University of California, Berkeley also wondered that. And so they asked Shaklee to join with them in a study to find out, should we take supplements? And so what they did is they had 3 groups of people. The first group was a Shaklee group, and they picked Shaklee because they knew people in Shaklee take a lot of supplements. So these people for 20 years or more were taking multiple supplements. So think about like a multivitamin, a probiotic, a B and C complex, maybe fish oil, things like that. The second group was taking just a multivitamin, and it could be from anywhere. It could be from a health store like a GNC, it could be from Walmart, Walgreens, something like that. The third group was taking nothing at all. So each group had to be doing that for 20 years or more to be in the study. And Shaklee had no control over the results of this study. So when they agreed to do it, they really were showing that they believe in their products and in their science. And the results came back, and they were just amazing and really showed that Shaklee supplements really do affect us in the long term. So you look there, so these are some of the results. The Shaklee users had 11% lower cholesterol ratios, which has to do with cardiovascular health, 33% lower levels of triglycerides, 36% lower levels of homocysteine, and 59% lower levels of C-reactive protein, which is a biomarker for long-term biological stress. And I didn't know what C-reactive protein was when I started Shaklee, but my friend, who's actually here today, she came to an event and Alyssa was sharing, and when she saw that number, 59% lower levels of C-reactive protein, she said that she was so amazed because she was a nurse and had worked with had on her floor, people in the, I think it was cardiac unit, they all had high levels of C-reactive protein. So that a supplement could really do this in the long term was amazing. Now the other two groups, the group that took just one multivitamin that wasn't Shaklee or took nothing at all, actually switched back and forth for second and third place. So sometimes it was better to have taken nothing at all than to have taken a supplement that you couldn't trust. Next slide. There you go. So this is my family. These are my 4 kids. And when I was going through that very difficult time of just not feeling good, being in bed all the time, having a lot of pain, I went the traditional route. And I love my doctor, but she couldn't help me. That just wasn't in her training. And so eventually after 4 years, I decided to try Shaklee supplements. And for me, it made such a difference. And this is what I take. It's called the Life Plan. And this is the most comprehensive, the best, most comprehensive nutrition system in the world. We can legally say that. Our lawyers checked because we have 35 patents and patents pending. No other nutrition system is like this. And it contains really amazing protein, which protein is important for every cell in our body. It also contains some of the supplements that that those Shaklee users were taking in that 20-year study, like a multivitamin and a B and C complex and the fish oil. And then it contains something that that purple, those 2 purple pills with the V, that's called Vivix. And this one works at the cellular level. And what it does is it goes into our cells and it heals them and it protects them from further damage. And for me with chronic illness, chronic issues, this has been a key product for me. So this is something I think is great for people who struggle with things like inflammation, chronic illness, or just someone who wants to live longer, younger, or younger, longer. There we go. And then Alyssa, I think you were going to talk about Vitalizing Plan.
Yes. Can you hear me now? Hopefully. Yes. So Vitalizing Plan. So if you feel like, well, I don't really have chronic problems, but I would love to just fill in the gaps for every day. Vitalizing Plan is also a really good plan. In kind of the best package is definitely the Life Plan, but good is also would be Vitalizing Plan. And so Tracy on our team, she's someone that she has a really interesting story because she said every time that her time of the month came as a woman, it was so painful, and her whole family suffered for it because of hormones and things. And when she started to use this Vitalizing Plan, it made a world of difference for her, so much that she would be surprised when she got her period. So, and you can see this picture on the left. What I love is it shows some of the science behind the products. It's not just that they're pure, but also that they're designed by scientists to dissolve in the right place of your body at the right time. So the Vital E multivitamin dissolves in the stomach. The Corrado E Omega dissolves in the upper intestine so you don't get fishy burps. The BNC complex has a slow dissolve, and that little probiotic, I love it so much. There's a lot of people that talk about how great probiotics are, but the problem is most of them are in yogurt and they dissolve in harsh stomach acid. Shaklee saw that problem, and that cute little probiotic pearl has 3 coatings on it so that the outer coating dissolves in the upper intestine, and by the time it's fully dissolved, it's in the lowest part of the intestine, exactly where it should dissolve. And people have seen just amazing results with even just that probiotic alone, but also with Vitalizing Plant. So all these products can be bought separately, but we love this whole plan. And so we really just want to kind of give you an overview of some of our favorite products, really that we think you should supplement with if you're going to supplement. One other thing I want to touch on is if you are a person that thinks about weight loss, a lot of times weight loss means people eat salads, and that's great. You should eat salads, but usually the body goes into starvation mode. And so why not have the science of Shaklee on your side? And so this is Chelsea on our team. You can see she had a great results by eating healthy, eating those salads, but also getting protein, because protein, especially leucine, which is an enzyme that is found in Shaklee 180 protein, and that's one of the Shaklee difference behind our protein, unlike found in other proteins out there, is that it helps your body hold on to muscle, and muscle increases your metabolism and therefore helps you to burn fat. And also, you're not hungry, you're not starving, and end up going and jumping off your diet and eating a Big Mac instead, right? So it's another thing to think about if you are even just looking for a healthy meal on the go. So all of our products have clinical results without compromise. And I think that is a really unique thing. We just kind of gave you an overview tonight, but if you are wondering about supplementation and you're considering it, I would strongly recommend you consider Shaklee because of the clinical results that we have that other companies really just don't have. And there's even a couple product lines we didn't talk about tonight. We also have an amazing skincare line and healthy home products so that you're not putting these toxins in your home through your cleaning products. But all of our product lines are safe, and they have that proven clinical studies behind it, and they are guaranteed, which means if you don't see the results that you're looking for, you can actually get your money back. So that was huge for Erin when Erin and I were talking, because she had been so sick for so long and she had tried so many things. I said, hey, if this doesn't work, you can get your money back. And, I told her maybe wait a couple months just to see, but what was amazing is she saw results even in the first week, which was incredible. So these are definitely just things to think about as you're talking with the person who invited you.
All right, so at the beginning, we had you think about what are your health goals, what resources do you spend on things that for your health and things not for your health. And so I just want you to keep that in mind, what your health goals are, and then think about some of the things we talked about tonight and what is the most intriguing to you. You can put it in the comments if you want to type, or you can just think about it. But that's what we want you to be thinking about is what did we say tonight that maybe connects with you, something that you might be ready to try. And so Shaklee allows you to purchase at retail, which you're absolutely welcome to do, but they also have an amazing membership program. And I really believe our membership program is like none other. And the best way to get the most savings is to become a preferred member. And that just means you're going to get 15% off standard price on all your products, and then you'll get free shipping on all auto ship orders of $150 or more. Plus, you get more special offers that are exclusive to preferred members. So if you're thinking, yeah, I want to try this and I think I want this in my life, talk to the distributor who invited you, because preferred membership is going to be the way that you can get the most savings, and we're all about saving money.
Absolutely. And by the way, a preferred member is not a distributor. That's a different thing. So even if you're not looking for a business, a preferred member is a great way to go.
Right. Yes. Thank you.
Let's see if I can go to the next slide. There we go.
And then really quickly, we only have a couple minutes left, but I just wanted to share with you that there is another option as well for saving money, and that is to become a distributor. Our discount is actually the same when you start as a member, but then you do get a bonus check for what you use for yourself and what you help other people use as well. And so we work as a team. That's what we're doing tonight, is working as a team. We train each other, we encourage each other, and build one another up. We're not in competition with one another, so it's just such a great opportunity. I started just to pay for my products, and now we're actually fixing up some things in our house with my Shaklee money, so that's pretty encouraging. And so this is a picture of our team. We were in Atlanta last year for a conference, and so we just want you to know that is an option available to you, and we can have that conversation. Just because you're asking about it or curious doesn't mean that you have to sign up, but we would love to just have that conversation with you. So let us know if that's something that is intriguing to you as well. Yes, Claire, me too. I love the non-competition part. It's amazing. And so, how do you see yourself fitting in? So, if you are ready today to place your order, we can definitely help you do that. If you're not ready, you need some more time to think, ask more questions. That's what we're here for. We're really here to serve you and help you make the best decision for you. So, we just want to thank you for tuning in today. And yeah, Alyssa, did you have anything else that you wanted to say?
Yes. So, like as you were watching this, if there's something you feel like you missed, we do have it recorded. Or, like I said, there's probably people that are coming to your mind that you think, gosh, I really wish they could hear this. You're always welcome to invite to our monthly presentation. So we'll do this again first week of June. And then we also have a cleanse coming up in a couple weeks, so you can ask questions about that. So if you're not a member of some of our Facebook groups yet, ask the person who invited you, and you can totally do that for free. We won't bother you. It's more just being informed and being inspired to live a healthier life. So I sure hope that this encouraged you tonight of the small steps that you can take to live a healthier life. Don't try to do something huge, but just make small steps. And if we can help you start with Shaklee products, we are absolutely happy to do that with you as well. So make sure you contact the person who shared this with you. So thanks for being here, friends. We appreciate you. We'll talk to you later. Bye.
Bye.